Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the GM. It is your guy, Bulan Shay. Up next on the GM, Ravens versus Bengals. Keys to victory. Let's talk. So, man, I'm finally back into some sort of a normal setting. Thank goodness things are getting back to normal, at least down my way, for sure. But let's get into the conversation about Baltimore Ravens versus the Cincinnati Bengals. This is a game that's going to be at 1 o'clock on Sunday in Cincinnati, a tough place to play, especially for a divisional rival. And so when you think about what the Baltimore Ravens need to do to win this game, I think there's 5 keys, but I'm also going to give you 5 things that the Baltimore Ravens could do to lose this game. All right. So let's jump into it. I think key number 1 that the Baltimore Ravens must do on Sunday is not turn the ball over, right? It doesn't matter how great you run the ball. It doesn't matter how great you pass the ball. If you turn the ball over, you can kill a drive, certainly, and you can flip momentum. Kind of very similar to the last week game against the Buffalo Bills, where we were kind of doing what we wanted to do, what we needed to do offensively and defensively. And Lamar, I think he escapes. He gets hit, fumbles the ball, and from that point, you could see a clear momentum shift. Now, we were able to kind of stem that tide and get things back to normal, but we have to eliminate the turnovers, right? If we can win the turnover battle, that's step number 1, key number 1 to winning this game in Cincinnati. Key number 2, I think that the Baltimore Ravens must eliminate the penalties, okay? I know that all 4 weeks of this season, we could play back the tape and see different calls that the referees seem to be overly involved in the game, missed calls, bad calls, those kind of things. But the fact of the matter is, regardless of what the referee calls, whether it's a mistake or not, we have to eliminate those things that we do, those self-inflicted things, delay of games, false starts, holding, those kind of things. We have to eliminate those kind of things so we can play things even. We can't go into Cincinnati and lose the turnover battle and then also beat ourselves with penalties. So those are the first 2 keys. Now let's get into some more specifics. Key number 3, which could be key number 1, I think that the Baltimore Ravens have to be game plan diverse. What I mean is the whole NFL world knows that the Baltimore Ravens desire to run the ball. We ran it really well in Dallas. We ran the ball really well at home against Buffalo. We look super dominant. We're the number 1 rush team in the whole league. And so the whole world knows that we are going to try and establish the run. And because that is true, I believe the Cincinnati Bengals come out in this game and their goal is to stop the run. I think you'll see 9 and 10 men in the box in this game with the purpose of stopping Derrick Henry, Justice Hill, and Lamar Jackson. And so I think to be diverse means don't keep running into the same wall, right? Mix it up from the beginning. Allow the Bengals to know that you know what, you can throw it and you will throw it. We are too late in Lamar Jackson's career to still be having the conversation of if he can really throw the ball. We're too late. And we have too much evidence that Lamar Jackson is a good passer from the pocket and on the move to still be questioning or have teams question, can Lamar Jackson and this offense beat us with the pass? And so I think being game plan diverse means we have built in adjustments. So if one thing's not working, we can absolutely go to another aspect of this game and still get a win. And so I think personally the Baltimore Ravens must put Lamar Jackson under center a little more to add a little bit more of deception to the run game, a little bit more deception to the pass game. Because if he's under center, all things are on the table, right? You know, the play fake or play action, the straight dive, the ride and decide whether he hands it off or keeps it, or the fake and drop back. All things are on the table. But when he's in the shotgun mostly, and we've been seeing more of Lamar Jackson being under center, but when Lamar Jackson is in the shotgun, that play fake they try and do, that's not real deception. Because it's easy for a linebacker to just kind of look and see if Derrick Henry gets the ball and moves forward, or if Lamar Jackson still has that ball in his hand. So I think that being able to make the necessary adjustments, not because things aren't going well, but because it's already built into the game plan to show the Cincinnati Bengals something different. All right, so I think that's key number 3. Key number 4, I think the Baltimore Ravens must hit the 200-yard mark in rushing. It doesn't really matter to me who leads them in rushing this week. If it's split up pretty even, Derrick Henry 80, Lamar Jackson 70, Justice Hill 50. It doesn't really matter to me who leads them in rushing, but I think we must hit that 200-yard mark, because I think our run game and our short passing game is going to be an element that we can use to keep the Cincinnati Bengals offense off the field. Because the more they're off the field, meaning Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, and that up-and-coming running game, the better off we are. They can't score if their offense is not on the field, especially if we don't turn the ball over. That's why all the keys have been laid out like they have. So I think we hit the 200-yard mark. I would like to see some carry diversity as well. Derrick Henry around 20 carries. I would like to see Lamar Jackson 7 to 9 carries, something like that. Some scrambles mixed in with some called runs. I'd like to see Justice Hill somewhere between 5 and 7 carries as well. And then even mix in a little bit of Patrick Ricard. Who wants to see a 300-plus pound fullback coming downhill on a 3rd and 1 or something like that? Another part of the run game I want to add right here is I think that because, we are so heavy of a run team, I would definitely like to see some power I, right? Some old school run it down your throat, smash mouth, even if it's 3 or 4 yards. I would like to see us in that big package because the Bengals are getting some of their defensive starters back along that line, and so I like to see more of a punishing style like we did last week in Buffalo, and I expect that. Key number 5. So the first 4 keys, of course, to victory was offensive, and I think key number 5 is to it's kind of 2 parts. I think the front, let's go 5. 3 interior linemen, 2 outside linebackers, and the secondary must be in sync. Joe Burrow has some mobility to him. He's not necessarily wanting to run or anything like that. In fact, he would rather stay in the pocket. So I would love to see that pressure in the middle. That offensive line for the Bengals have definitely improved. But I'd like to see some pressure up the middle. And when we get around Joe Burrow, if we can't get to him, try to knock the ball out, right? Try to get some strips in there, that kind of thing. Make him uncomfortable in that pocket. And I think it's going to require the secondary to hold up and give that front a little more time to get to Joe Burrow. I expect the Bengals to try and integrate some intermediate passes more than I think deep passes. Can they go deep? Yes. Will they go deep? Yes. But I can kind of see them implementing or wanting to go with some more intermediate passes. That way the ball gets out of Joe Burrow's hands a lot quicker, especially if we make him uncomfortable. So I think the front 5 and the secondary must be in sync. And I think a part of that is, if we allow the front 5 to get to Joe Burrow, we must finish the deal. There's sometimes we'll get around the quarterback and we don't finish. I think this is the week we must finish. I think this could be a great game for a guy like a Trenton Simpson, who we haven't seen flash a whole lot this season. I think he's played well. We haven't heard of Trent Simpson being called out for a lack of effort or a lack of ability. But I think this is one of those games where you can send him on a blitz. I think this is one of those games where you have to put him in coverage on like Mike Gesicki or Hall, those Cincinnati Bengals tight ends. And so I would love to see him flash this week and make a couple of plays. All right, now let's jump to the 5 things that the Baltimore Ravens could do to lose this game. I think the first thing the Baltimore Ravens could do to lose this game is to lose focus and abort their game plan, right? And we definitely have seen that a time or 2 this season. We've seen that in the AFC Championship. We've seen that in Week 1, and we saw a little bit of that in Week 2 against the Raiders, where the Baltimore Ravens have something cooking, and then they just turn the stove off and start doing something different. So I think the first thing that the Baltimore Ravens could do to lose this game is to abort the game plan, whatever that game plan may be, right? That's why I mentioned that it must be has some built-in adjustments. All right, I think the key number 2 that the Baltimore Ravens could do to lose this game is, excuse me, not get the tight ends involved. I think if Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews are not involved in this game to the tune of 8 to 12 catches, I think the Baltimore Ravens could lose this game because it's pretty cool that they're blocking, right? But if the Bengals roll coverage and eliminate Zay in some aspects, right, your next best two receivers are going to be your tight ends. So if we don't use them, which we have not used them much over the last couple of weeks, that's another way that the Baltimore Ravens could lose this game because Lamar Jackson is kind of a rhythm quarterback. And when he doesn't find a rhythm or a connection with a particular receiver early in that game, it typically does not happen. So I think that those two tight ends must get involved. 8 to 10 to 12 catches, somewhere around 100 yards. I think that's what they need in this game. I think this is a game. Along with that Zay Flowers must be involved. I think he needs 5 to 7 catches, 60 to 70 yards. Right, he's kind of been the forgotten guy as the Ravens' number one receiver over the last couple of weeks. Now, I'm not complaining the running game has been working, but I think that you have to make sure that you continue to work this passing game so that when you have to rely on it, when the run is not working, that you can access that passing game, right? I think key number 3 that the Baltimore Ravens must avoid, or the third thing that the Baltimore Ravens must avoid to lose this game is having a lot of self-inflicted wounds, right? We've seen the Baltimore Ravens over the last year or so have some late hit penalties. It's third down, we get pressure, and the play is stopped, right? Meaning the catch is made, but we stop the wide receiver short of the first down, or the play is batted away. The ball is batted away, excuse me, and the play is over, but we get the late hit penalty. We've seen that at least 4 to 6 times over the last couple of seasons. Those are the kind of plays that keep a drive going and ends up in touchdowns and things like that. Other self-inflicted wounds, again, it's the delay of games, the jumping off sides, the holding when the play is already gone, and missed assignments. Those are things that could absolutely derail progress. And we know how the Ravens are. When things are going well, they go well. When things get off track a little bit, they get off track a whole lot. And so I think that's the third thing the Baltimore Ravens could do to lose this game. All right. The fourth thing I think the Baltimore Ravens could do to lose this game is to get out coached, to get out schemed, to get out game planned. Of course, we understand that we rolled into Cincinnati this week with a big time run team, right? So to come out and do something totally different would be ignorant, but not to make the proper adjustments and have a glitchy type play calling on Sunday could lose this game. So I think getting out coached could absolutely cost the Baltimore Ravens this game. And the fifth thing that the Baltimore Ravens could do to lose this game, right, is to not be disciplined when it comes to their assignments. Assignments like blocking, assignments like hitting the right hole, assignments like running the right routes, assignments like reading the right reads, assignments like catching the ball when it hits your hand, assignments like being in the right place, right time when it's time for coverage, assignments like being gap disciplined along that defensive front. The Baltimore Ravens come in as the number one rush defensive team in the league, right around 56 yards per game allowed in the rush. So being undisciplined, getting out of your gaps, getting blown out, all those kind of things could lead to a loss, right? The Bengals average about 103, something like that, yards per game. And so if they come out and they hit 120 and 30 and 50, 150 yards and all those kind of things, man, that means we've been undisciplined and we're doing something we don't normally do. That could cost us the game. So those are the 5 keys to win and the 5 things the Baltimore Ravens could do to lose this game. Let me give you my score prediction like I gave it yesterday. I'm going to tighten up my score a little bit. I'm going to say this game is going to be more like 29-26 Ravens win on a Justin Tucker field goal. Okay. Now, let me say one more thing. I think that in this game in particular, one of the things to watch is, do the Ravens trust Justin Tucker? Everybody come out and say, oh, we trust Tuck, we trust Tuck, we trust Tuck. Well, we're going to see. If it's 4th and 2, if it's 4th and 1, and we're over the 50, we're going to see if we trust Tuck, if we go for it or not, right? Because Tuck has not been good from 45 and beyond over the last calendar year. He just has not been good. And so I think that the Baltimore Ravens may end up having to go for it some, especially if Tuck trots out there and he misses that first field goal. I think all bets are off at that time. So man, I think that's another key. Is Justin Tucker going to be on his game, or he's going to still be a little bit sketch? So listen, man, I'm your guy Boulanger. Catch you guys after the game tomorrow. I'm out.